New Dawn beckons here in Fuji, and today we'll be racing here in. Apologies for the mic. New Dawn basically beckons here in Fuji, and today we'll be racing in here in the foothills of the Mount Fuji mountain for the start of the 2023 Hololive GT3 Japan series. And oh boy, it's a very nice entry list that we'll be seeing here today. But first of all, let's take a look into the track itself. Fuji Speedway. We're looking at a track about 4.5 kilometers in length, 16 corners in total, and starting from this season, we'll be seeing marquee events and regular events as well, with round 1 of this season in Hololive GT3 literally coming into a week before the fourth festival that will be hosted at Adak-RMS exhibition hall at Hololive for the Super Expo 2023, and also the 4th Fest Outright Parade. This round will be considered as a marquee event, as it basically coincides with Hololive's biggest event, as of which the length is about 250 kilometers, and we're looking at a target lap time of 142.295. And also, since this is round 1, this will be labeled as a split round. So obviously with split round, we'll be racing in 2 days for all 35 cars. Today we'll be racing split A, and we're looking at the opening round of the season here in Hololive GT3 as well. We were supposed to have 25 cars in split A and 26 cars in split B, but due to issues that we will only be carrying just the 18 in split A, which will be from the Japan class. And looking into the entry list there has been a lot of changes there due to issues internally. Like for example, Alexis Bowen pulling out before 7 hours before the start of this race, and now her spot is basically taken over by International Series driver Carolina Vieira da Silva, and Tony Bazinga's spot is filled by newcomer Sean Golial, who have also been called up just yesterday to take over the Iroha car. But apart from that, 16 other drivers will be competing based on the similar entry list that we've had so far. From Fhu My, the defending series champion, to Mama Shazren Reza, who has 5 wins in total, both representing Tokino Sora and Himemori Luna. Yes, we have noted that the cars can be too loud at times. We'll be adjusting the volumes right away. Anyways, 18 cars are entered, but only one winner will come out of this 250-kilometer race. And speaking of the split list here at the moment, let's take a look into the split standings here at the moment. But for now, I'm checking that we can't have the split standings here at the moment, and given that it's almost 1 p.m. 2 p.m. Japan time, let's take you over into the qualifying sessions. So obviously it's still going to be a one-man booth due to our usual guy Zeke Wimberley not being available. So it's just me in the commentary booth, Mama Shazren Reza, right here in the booth at the moment. And here we see the cars out on track finally in Hololive GT3. So while we are seeing these cars on track, let's talk about a few drivers here that still remain in this series. So we have guys like Mama Shazren Reza, who, hang on, let me just check if the mic is the right mic. Yes, the right mic. Anyways, we're taking a look into Shazren Reza. 5 wins already last season in the 2022 season, both regular and the postseason. Obviously, he represents Himemori Luna. So we're looking at a guy who has just about the most wins out of anyone so far, and he wants to hope that he will be bringing his 6th, as he's now battling weirdly with Daniel Bauer in the number 66 Jose Romel Lexus, side by side and down the inside. Daniel Bauer will have the edge, but let's hope that these two won't be impeding each other in qualifying. Let's switch to another driver and see another one of those new faces. Makoto Miyamoto replaces Fawaz Mori because Fawaz Mori could not commit to a full-time season, and Makoto Miyamoto basically is one of those strong watamates out there. Tsunomaki Watame, if you want to call him that. Anyways, Miyamoto currently exits the final corner. Let's take you on board Miyamoto for a lap here in Fuji. Obviously, you need to get a very late exit of this corner, turn 16, for you to really barrel yourself down into turn 1 as you can see Shazren and Daniel Bauer side by side once again, which is not favorable if you are wanting to set a hot lap uninterrupted into turn 1. Take it easy there, brake at just about 150 meters before turn 1. Into turn 2 and into turn 3, you just need to brake at between the 150 meter boards, 75 meters before turn 3. And then into the long right-hander. Yeah, I think this is 5 and 6. Take a late apex into this turn 6 and into the hairpin. Late braking just before the billboards. They get a good exit off of the hairpin and into the Dunlop chicane. I would suggest that you go flat out around here and into the Dunlop chicane. Brake just around before the billboards into the Dunlop chicane. And into the exit there, into the tight third sector. Usually we want to probably brake every single one of these as one corner because all these corners come very thick and fast. And into the final 3 corners, turn 50 and turn 16. Very good exit between these 2 corners. Raja Kaczynski not doing much to block Daniel Bauer. But that is a lap done. And while I am adjusting the graphics here at the moment to help promote the 4 festival here, here's a lap from Daniel Bauer. 1:43.548. That's a very decent lap time from him. We only have 11 minutes of qualifying to go. Shazren is down in 3rd place, which is not looking good for the guy with the most wins in Hololive GT3. John Mead in his first Hololive GT3 qualifying session, 1:42.375. And Isekaiji Mikolev is on fire at the moment, 1:42.146. The provisional pole, fastest out of anyone so far, representing Sakura Miko. Tim Ino's the first Nissan to cross the line, 1:43.527. Konnichiwa minasan for the Japanese viewers watching. Unfortunately, we cannot find Japanese commentators for a Japanese stream. So we'll try our best to stream in English and to show you the stream. And right now we're also looking at Wawan Suharto. Not bad from him, getting a 4th place. And Gibbons, good job there, 1:42.406. And right now we're looking into some of the battles here in qualifying right now. Shazren down to 10th place. Obviously not in the position that he needs at the moment. And Carolina Vieira da Silva, the emergency sub-in for Alexis Bowen, who we've mentioned have left the series due to internal conflicts. Vieira da Silva has raced in the international series, and obviously for both of them, they have been seeing good amount of successes in Lexus equipment. And Sean Goliath then in car 16 qualifies, and Shazren Reza manages to deliver himself once again, 1:41.897. That's the lap time shattered. Well, the lap time expectations and lap predictions shattered. So Shazren Reza is now the fastest driver in the field. Daniel Bauer is only 1/100th of a second off. Sean Goliath down in 17th place, not looking good for him at the moment. Tim Ino qualifying inside the top 10. He just sets another lap of him. Apologies if there has been a slight lag here. Ansari Kynes about to complete his lap. Meanwhile, Phu My and Aster qualifying in 8th and 11th respectively for the reigning champion. Not looking good for him. Ansari Kynes does not improve in his qualifying session. 8 minutes to go. And looking into the field at the moment, the manufacturer that shows up are the Hondas at the moment. 3 of the 5 Hondas are currently in the top 4. Isekaiji Mikolev obviously in the pits, and the other driver in the pits is Christoph Salmonman, who have not gone out on track. Actually, let's take a closer look into this ride. Vieira da Silva gets inside the top 10, bumps Ino down to 11th place. And looking at Salmon Man, this is the ride that Salmon Man is driving. This is the number 12 ASCII Honda. Obviously, ASCII have switched idle equipment from the vest top to the corset top, and it was supposed to be Andrew Taco who was driving it, but it had been replaced with Salmon Man, and I believe there has been another battle here between Shazren and Daniel Bauer. Both of them are the fastest drivers in the field, both of them going side by side. Obviously, both of them are inside the top 2 positions, so obviously both of them are just not going to care too much. Mikolev Mead looking to get inside the top 2 positions, the front row start. They're gonna try their best. And here's Makoto Miyamoto trying to stay ahead of Kaczynski. Kaczynski is quite fast. Kaczynski is currently in 14th place in the qualifying speeds at the moment, and Fumi is slowly climbing himself back up into the top spots. Obviously, Fumi now up to 5th place in the Tokino Sora Nissan, the defending champion of the 2022 season. Well, most of the 2022 postseason, but even if you add the split season together, he would have the most points out of anyone so far. So we could still call him the reigning 2022 champion. So obviously, Fumi have won 3 races in this car. And Ben Ripton improves for 15th place, bumps down Zeke Wimberly, and Sean Goliath is now down in 16th and 17th. Sean Goliath tries to improve, but he's still way back, 4.2 seconds off. Will he find improvement? The answer is yes, but only 3.9 tenths off, 145.850. Apologies for the slight lag here. Zeke Wimberly peels into the pit, as you can see here. Christoph Salmerman is still stationary inside the pit. 6 minutes to go. Obviously, there is a problem with the ASCII car that is not showing up in qualifying. We apologize for again the screen freeze, but still a good showing there for much of the Hondas there. The Hondas who have been established in Split A, the Hachama Honda, the Sakaramiko Honda, and the Himemori Luna Honda, driven by John Mead, Isekaiji Mikolev, and Shazren Reza respectively, are currently inside the top 4. Daniel Bauer is the only one who breaks this chain, with it being Alexis representing Yozo Ramel. And we apologize if there has been a slight graphical error that shows the international series rather than the Japan series. Let me just fix this right away. Meanwhile, we'll be taking a look at some of the other drivers, like Makoto Miyamoto, obviously in his first Hololive GT3 start, and obviously he would be, well, the current status of the Formula Hololive entry list is still up for debate, honestly, but obviously we need to take a look into what's going on over there as well. We also need to probably just thing as well. Anyways, so let's take a look back into the on-track action here. Miyamoto, still 8th place for him. Sorry, 8th place for her. Sorry. We apologize for the misgendering. Makoto Miyamoto is actually a female from our list here at the moment. Miyamoto wanted to leave her mark in the series. Still in 8th place, a pretty decent spot for her. Callum Gibbons now, as we've mentioned here, Callum Gibbons have bumped down John Mead from 4th to 5th, as Gibbons puts his car inside the top 4. He will be qualifying in the 2nd row. So anyways, we have a few drivers back inside the pit lane here. We are about 3 minutes before we end this qualifying session here. Miyamoto is still on her way. A lot of drivers still pitting, trying to find a window for them to get back out on track. Here's Ricky Contreras, qualifying in 13th place for the first time in the Lapless Darkness Nissan. A bit of a background, the Hololive cars have driven concept cars, while the drivers who have been representing Hololive in the postseason were racing in the concept rides. So obviously, at that time, the idle uniform, the non-stop story style idle uniform for the NSS drivers, sorry, for the Hololive members are exiting ahead of, rather nearby, Carolina Vieira da Silva. Not looking good for Contreras. Over there, I'm kind of bunched up here. We're seeing some 3 wide action ending into turns 3. Okay. Pretty easy so far here between these drivers here. Here we see Carolina Vieira da Silva trying to get past Contreras. Also Vieira da Silva wanting to get a warm-up lap in and trying to get past da Silva before da Silva to get past Contreras before it's too late. Shazren is also not far behind. Meanwhile, we're seeing Daniel Bauer still in the front row of the grid. Will qualify on the outside, and now Shazren is now going into the mix. Not what da Silva wanted on her basically reserve role at the moment. As from what we have heard, da Silva is going to be temporarily taking over the Snowball car until a replacement can be found. Fortunately, she was there around the vicinity of the circuit when Alexis Bowen pulled out from her entry. So obviously Vieira da Silva wanting to leave a mark for herself and for Sergei Noel. One final lap for Vieira da Silva to try to gain some time relative to the other drivers. She's fighting against fellow Lexus teammates Miyamoto and Heinz, representing Watami and Ozora Subaru respectively. Speaking of Hans-Henrik Heinz, we don't know if this is his second lap or so, but Heinz has been a stalwart representative of Ozora Subaru in the number 48, wanting to leave a mark here, wanting to try his best every time he's in this car. Let's see how he does in the first sector. Only 4 tenths behind, which is not ideal. But Heinz really trying to push on with his lap here. This is his final chance to try to gain some lap time. Phu My only lost 2 tenths in the second sector. He is really showing his skills as a champion here in Hololive GT3. Right off the bat, he has recovered some of the pace that he has lost from his qualifying from his 2022 postseason. Obviously winning 2 of the 4 races to secure the Japan Series trophy, as the qualifying session finally ticks down to 0. The Albright Parade 500 will be seeing its conclusion soon in this qualifying session, but not before we have the race underway. Zeke Wimberly finishes this lap qualifying just inside 15th place, top 15, where you get points. So Zeke Wimberly in his Hololive GT3 debut for the Hakui Koyori Honda. He has raced for Hakui Koyori in the Nissan. This is his first competitive weekend in the Honda. Decent run from him. Shazren has crossed the line, and that is his qualifying session over. Meanwhile, we'll be taking a look into some of the drivers here as well. Ben Drifton will qualify 16th. Alkan Esser down in 13th place. Tim Ino down in 11th place. Let's see if he can gain some more laps. Oh, and it looks like he will be coming into the pits this lap. And looking at Mead, Isakaji Mikolev on the final moments of his qualifying. Let's see if he can improve. The answer is no. He will qualify 3rd. Shazren Reza and Daniel Bauer have locked into the front row of the grid. Obviously, with the Himemori Luna car on pole position once again, and Daniel Bauer in 2nd place. And with that out of the way, that is the qualifying session over. So a good session for everyone to see. Obviously, Christoph Salmonman didn't set any time and that is absolutely it's kind of sad to see guys like Crystal Salmon not being able to set even a lap time. So obviously we will hope that Salmon can try to make it up in the race despite qualifying at the back. Meanwhile, let's take a look back into the starting lineup here. We apologize, the previous music isn't showing, but now showing up now. Here we see Shazren Reza scoring again his pole position. I think it's his first since Buriram last May. So Shazren Reza with a 141.878 outclasses the entire field in the Luna Honda. Daniel Bauer in second place in the Yozoramel Lexus. Let's see what he can do. He's already won a race last time out in Suzuka. Isakaiji Mikolev. The Sakurabika Honda have not won a race just yet. But will it change this race? Obviously the car has come close in round 7 of the regular season, but will Mikolev break the chain? Callum Gibbons staying inside Roboco Lexus for now is qualified 4th. Let's see what the Roboco Lexus can do. Obviously the Roboco Lexus have won in Fuji a year ago. John Mee as well, representing the Hachama Honda. This car has also won in the previous outing in the round 1 of the season. And Fhu My, defending champion, this car has also won in this race and at this track. Let's see what Fhu My can do for the 6th place as the reigning champion, representing Tokino Sora. Makoto Miyamoto in her first Hololive GT3 start. Is in the Tsunamaki Watami Lexus, qualifying 7th. Wallace Suharto in split A does not too shabby for Suharto. Representing Suharto, he qualifies 8th place. Hansari Kainz in Otoro Spara Lexus, qualifying 9th. And Carolina Vieira da Silva, we apologize if the nationality is wrong. She is Brazilian, but due to Alexis Bowen's sudden departure, there was not much time to replace the nationality flags. So we apologize for that. Tim Eno in 11th place in the Omar Polka Nissan was qualified in 11th. Raja Kaczynski in 12th in the Yusuke Choco Lexus. And then we have Ali Ganasser in the Takani Louis Nissan in 13th. Contreras 14th in the Laptop Darkness Nissan. Zeke Wickley 15th in the Takui Koyori Honda in 15th. Then Ripton 16th in the Takui Honda in 16th. Zongolaya, last of the Hollox members, qualifying down in 17th place. Obviously, it's a Hollox 13th to 17th, not looking good for the Hollox representation. And Christoph Salmonman, first time out in the ASCII Honda, representing ASCII, will qualify last due to him not setting a lap time. And now, the moment we've been waiting for, it's the start of the new season. It's the start of the Our Bright Parade 500. Shazren Reza is in pole position. And there we go. And you can see here, we don't want to go on board here at the moment. As you can see, cars barreling down into turn 1. Shazren Reza is trying to fend off Mead. Not exactly Daniel Bauer. And Daniel Bauer actually had a very good launch there. He is now inside the lead of this race. And also Callum Gibbons is seizing the opportunity to steal a few spots here. He's now up to second, stealing a lot of positions from Shazren Reza at the moment. It's now a Lexus 1-2. And now Isakaji Mikolev and John Mee battling between each other. The Honda Civil War is back and in earnest. And as you can see here, we have Daniel Bauer leading this race. Callum Gibbons is in 3rd. Shazren Reza is in 3rd. Isakaji Mikolev 4th. And John Mead not far behind in 5th place. Makoto Miyamoto 6th. Fhu My's dropped down to 7th place. Hansari Kainz is in 8th. Carolina Vieira da Silva down to 9th. And we'll be looking to see who is in 10th place. Wallace Suharto with a bit of front end damage in 10th. And as you can see here, the ASCII Honda I don't think has moved. Yes, the ASCII Honda, sorry, we apologize. The ASCII Honda is now back up into a few positions here as well. And just a bit of a confirmation here, Daniel Bauer is leading this race. Callum Gibbons is in 2nd. There's a bit of an issue and a bit of an error inside the timing charts here at the moment. And so, because Shazren Reza is currently in 3rd place, despite the timing board showing that Shazren Reza is in pole position. Sorry, leading this race. And meanwhile, as we're about to end this first lap, 54 laps to go here in Fuji. Shazren Reza immediately tries to make his move against Callum Gibbons using the slipstream of the Honda NSX. Obviously, the Honda NSX is better on a straight line than the Lexus. Lexus is heavier and only has 540 horsepower, but the NSX only has 510, but it's 100 kilograms lighter, so of course it works better on the straights. Meanwhile, again, we apologize if there has been a slight lag on our end, as more shufflings between each driver have gone through. Now Golile is battling for, I believe, 16th against Ben Ripton. Not quite close enough for Golile. Golile trying to fend off Aligan Azor, who is, I believe, down to in 18th place. Tim Eno has crashed. And so that means Ben Ripton holds the final points positions. Sean Golile and Aligan Astor are battling Hammer and Thompson, who gets to get inside 16th place and who will challenge Ben Ripton for the points. Zeke Wimberly and Ricky Contreras battling side by side, and I think there had been contact between, looking at the damage between Wawan Suharto and Ricky Contreras, it could be either one of two of them that got into contact. Well, let's be fair, every car is in endurance spec at the moment, so obviously neither of these cars have an advantage over the other. And as you can see here, you can be seeing even more battles come the end of lap 2. Fumi not far behind me. Obviously, Shazren Reza now up to second place, hot on the heels of Daniel Bauer, who is currently leading this race on lap 3. And Fumi side by side with Mead, and Fumi has the position at the moment. Fumi has the, I believe, the fastest lap of this race, and Fumi will have 4th place. And we have confirmation. A 142.2 for Ho Fumi to secure the fastest lap of this race so far. And we're in the lap 3 of this race. Still a long way to go in this race, and we'll be taking a look into the race fuel monitors. Obviously, we also wanted to mention these fuel tanks have now been expanded to 120 liters of fuel. So on these lengthened races, they could basically go about filling their cars to the brim and try to fill in as much as they can. Christoph Salmon Man has basically gone for the super overcut strategy, and meanwhile we have the guys like Juan Suharto, Zeke Wimberly wanting to probably try a 2-stop strategy, and maybe Aligan Astor, Shazren Reza wanted to go for the 1-stop undercut. As we're continuing this progress in this race here, Fumi is still currently holding on to, I believe, 5th place. Sorry, it's not 4th, because Ikazagaiji Mikolev is actually in 4th. Callum Gibbons is currently in 3rd place. Looking into the field here at the moment, Makoto Miyamoto currently in 7th place. And now Shazren Reza steals the fastest lap from everyone else, 142.258 for Mohamed Shazren Reza. Really showing his skills here on the racetrack. 5 times the race winner. His ambitions of trying to make it 6 is now becoming very real. And meanwhile, we're seeing a side-by-side battle between Ben Ripton and Raiji Kaczynski for 14th place. Ben Ripton on the inside. And he gets the pass. And now Kaczynski is under pressure from Sean Golile for the final points positions. And Alikan Asser is also not far behind. Down the inside goes Bazinga. Sorry, no, it's not Bazinga, sorry, it's Sean Golile. Sean Golile also now trying to fend off Astor for... Okay, so we apologize for the slight pause of this race. We're now back on track. We apologize if there has been a issue with, let's say, the stream losing connection because OBS has crashed, and we managed to get ourselves back on track here. And right now we have Miyamoto trying to catch Wawan Suharto for 7th place. And right now we're looking into some of the battles here at the moment. We're trying to tone down the desktop audio as well. So, you know, it's nice to see some people who are still supporting us even after some of these setbacks. So right now we're back into this track. Lap 5 has already been completed. There was a oopsie in, like we mentioned, in OBS that crashed. So yeah, Goliath is still down in the final positions here at the moment. As we forgot to mention this as well, Aligan Aster has already passed Sean Goliath, and now he's down in 17th place. Tim Eno has crashed out of this race, presumably due to contact from either Ricky Contreras or Juan Fajardo. So obviously we need to pay attention to these developments. And Shazren Reza now really challenging Daniel Bao for the race lead. He took the slipstream at the exit of the final turn on that last lap. And now both of them battling side by side. Shazren Reza now has the race lead. Fumi and Mikolev Gen 0 battle side by side. Fumi and Mikolev basically battling hammer and toms into the long 100R and heading into the hairpin, which is this corner, right just before the total board, and you can see here both of them trying to get a very good exit off of each other. The VR38 EDTT engine out of Nissan beating the Honda NSX's engine, so Fumi has a better top speed, but they'll still be side by side heading into the Dunlop chicane. This is a battle for fourth place, as Count Gibbons is still in the podium positions in third place, trying to catch up to Daniel Bao, who have lost the lead to Muhammad Shazren Reza, trying to capture his 6th. Raja Kaczynski passing more drivers here. Ricky Contreras falling down the pack, presumably due to damage on his front. So obviously Contreras is dropping back down into near irrelevancy, as he's now trying to get himself into a race of survival to stay inside the points. Now a bit of a reminder, 15th place gives you 1 point, 14th place gives you 4 points, and for 8th place, and 8 points will be for 13th place, and it will be in a logarithmic gain until, let's say, you're in the top 5. 108 points for 5th, 130 points for 4th, 130 points for 3rd, 150 points for 3rd, 175 points for 2nd, and 200 points for the race winner. As you can see here, Kaczynski under pressure from Ricky Contreras once again. Laplace Darkness versus Yuzuki Choco battling side by side for position. Who is coming out on top as they exit the Coca-Cola corner and into 100R. The Lexus is very good in cornering. The Nissan is struggling there. Kaczynski is now back up into 14th place. Remember, Ben Ripton is 13th, and currently the ones in 12th and 11th is Christoph Salmonman and Zeke Wimberly, battling for whatever they have at the moment. As you can see here, there's also a good amount of damage on Wimberly's left side in that Hakui Koyori Honda. Meanwhile, Christoph Salmonman in the in the ASCII Honda, trying to catch up to Zeke Wimberly in the best way possible. And 11th, we need to try to re-clarify this. Zeke Wimberly is currently in 11th place, and as it stands, he will be getting around 32 points. And for Fumi, who received the fastest lap, 142.136. Very good stuff there from the defending champion, but he still has a lot of work to do in the next portions of this race. There's still a long way to go here in Fuji. Obviously, it's very overcast, and we're seeing another battle here between Kaczynski and Contreras. Contreras trying to hold on into the outside. Kaczynski may want to break deep down the inside to defend his position. And Kaczynski manages to steal back 14th place from Ricky Contreras, who is barely inside the points. A very good battle here between these two drivers. Very talented. in their field at the moment here. Right now, Kaczynski is trying to catch up to Ben Ripton, who's also losing touch to the other driver to the pack. And you see Ripton goes deep on that corner. And right now, Kaczynski is looking to find an opportunity. Kaczynski trying to catch up to Ripton, who has had a compromised exit off of the hairpin, but is now losing touch due to Ripton getting a better exit. But it's now back close up, and now it's back up close, and it's now backed up and looking to be under pressure from Contreras once again. Obviously, if you are Tim Eno, this is not a position that you are in at the moment. As you can see, a massive damage at the front. We need to check back the replays after this race to see what happened to Tim Eno. Meanwhile, Phu My is looking for his next prey. Callum Gibbons, another Gen 1 car, another Gen 0 car that he's looking to dispose. Phu My is literally hot on the heels. His race pace has been very good. Basically, his last lap was basically a 142.46, and which is a bit slower than Shazren Reza, who had a 142.536. And it looks to me that he has overtaken both Gibbons and Daniel Bauer. So very good stuff there. Phu My's now up to second, and now Contreras and Kaczynski continuing their race-long battle for position. Yusuke Choko, her representative, Raiji Kaczynski, is trying his best to fend off the advance from Contreras. Will there be contact? There will not be contact at the moment. Kaczynski has the outside line though, but that wouldn't matter too much. He's in the Lexus. Very good in the corners. Meanwhile, Phu My hanging on to second place there. A very good double overtake there for Phu My to take two cars within a span of a sector. Now it's Phu My's job to try to close out the gap to the race leader, Shazren Reza. It's the battle of the greats here in Fuji. Here in the Our Bright Parade 500 in Split A. Looking at Sean Goliath, we apologize for the sudden frame rate drops once again. Goliath is now back down to 10 seconds. Thanks chat for pointing that out. Sean Goliath, who had been running quite close to the back to the pack in front of Goliath, is now dropped down to 11 seconds behind Ali Khan Aster, and one could say that maybe Goliath has spun. We'll need to check the replays after this as well. So Tim Eno and Sean Goliath not having the best day in Hololive GT3 Japan. In their for Sean Goliath, it's his first race, but for Tim Eno, it's a bit of a contact and a collision, so that could be it as well. Meanwhile, John Mead, currently in 6th place, looking to find a gap against Isakaiji Mikolev in the Sakuramiko Honda. And Makoto Miyamoto going down the inside of Wawan Suharto. Both cars quite damaged. There is a battle of Bakatari between the two. Obviously, it's only 2/3 of Bakatari. Richie Raw representing Shirakami Fubuki will be racing tomorrow on Sunday. And Wawan Suharto has the position once again. But looks like Makoto Miyamoto is going to try to battle it out heading into the 3rd sector where the Lexus is absolutely driving in the corners, in basically the tight corners here. Good amount of low BSP corners, and now Hans-Henrik Heinz and Carolina Vieira da Silva are catching up. It's going to be a great battle here for 8th place, sorry, 7th. This is a battle inside the top 10. Can Miyamoto have a good exit off of the final turn? Not. There is, but the Nissan straight line speed is just so good. But right now, Miyamoto's gonna look into some other battles here at the moment and maybe try to find the pace after this long main straight. As you can see here, the speed trap is only 284 kilometers an hour for the Lexus, and for the Nissan is about 290, close to 300. But right now, Miyamoto's doing a very good job trying to catch up into basically Wawan Suharto, who is currently in 7th. There's currently 2 packs inside the top 10. Shazren Reza is on a league of his own. Fumi's trying his best to catch up. Callan Gibbons is in third, not far behind Fhu My and also Daniel Bauer though. He's also losing touch. Isakaji Mikolev and John Mead also not far behind each other as well. So the battle for second is getting rife as well. And looking at Sean Golal, who's already 51 seconds back on Mohamed Shazren Reza, it's not looking good for Golal as he's at risk of being lapped. And obviously, have you seen the previous streams in Hololive GT3? Lap cars have definitely played a huge role in the previous races in Hololive GT3. And what's not to say that it's not gonna play a role this race out? John May not far behind Isakaji Mikolev, only 5/10 separating between the two. Oh, as you can see here, there's a move there by Isakaji Mikolev there into Daniel Bauer. Daniel Bauer had started on pole, but is now dropping down the order and is now losing positions. It's now Mikolev in 4th place as it stands, and right now, yes, Mikolev has cleared the Yosa Ramel Lexus of Daniel Bauer. Daniel Bauer tried to look into the inside, but he's too far back. A lap car interfering with the lead cars has been a recurring story in Hololive GT3, especially in the International Series, where a championship was decided with lap cars in the equation. Meanwhile, Phu My trying to hold on to the advances against Callum Gibbons. Trying to hold on Callum Gibbons' advances into this race. And just to check into the voice, if you can hear my voice clearly once again, and not have the car's sounds drown out my commentary, do check again. Meanwhile, oh, there's a feisty battle here for the battle between the drivers between 7th to 10th, from Juan Suharto to Carolina Vieira da Silva. From 7th to 10th, I think there's only like 1 to 1.5 seconds separating between the two. Juan Suharto is losing touch to the top 6 and is currently holding back the Lexus cars, who are trying their absolute best to pass the Nissan car of Juan Suharto representing Shiranui Flair. Isakaji Mikolev trying to catch up into the top 3. Obviously, Isakaji Mikolev is not exactly in third, but it's said that once the drivers peel into the pits, there will be a fix into the timing boards. Okay, so right now close-ups are better. Yeah, okay. So right now I believe the desktop audio is already as fine as it is. So we're just going to leave it at that. So meanwhile, we're looking into some of the other battles here. Maybe we're looking into how if Makoto Miyamoto can catch up and pass Wawan Suharto. Miyamoto again makes the pass down the inside. The Bakatare battle continues between the two. Wawan Suharto holding it into the inside, forcing Miyamoto into the outside line. 1 minute the gap between Sean Golal and the race leader. No, this is a different Sean Golal. This is not Sean Golal who have raced in Formula 2 and is currently racing in endurance racing. It's a different Sean Golal, and it's from Malaysia. So Sean Golal not having a race of his time right now, already losing nearly 20 seconds to Ali Khan Aster. And looking into the battles for 6th place and above, it's currently a constant between all 6 drivers. Phu My is only a tenth slower than Shazren Reza, so Shazren Reza have a sigh of relief. Mikolev is about 5/10 faster than Phu My. Only 270 kilometers an hour there, without the slipstream there. Without the slipstream for Isakaji Mikolev. And right now we're on lap 14, getting close to 40 laps to go, and definitely an hour's worth of streaming left. Well, over an hour's worth of streaming. Oh, as you can see here, John Mee really... okay, onboarding to John Mee, Daniel Bauer really trying to get close to Isekaji Mikolev, but not close enough. Meanwhile, Phu My is in second place, trying to, again, hold off the advances of Callum Gibbons, who have been very well, performing quite well up until this point. It's all manufacturers 1, 2, 3, Honda leading this race. The Nissan is in second, and the Lexus is in third. And looking into strategies here at the moment, Racefield monitors. Looking at Makoto Miyamoto and Wawan Suharto, they will be pitting first. Tim Ino, of course, is out of this race. Which is a huge shame for the Omaru Polka teams out there. For all the Zain watching, for basically the representation of Omaru Polka is not going well in the first race of the season. Meanwhile, we're looking at Zeke Wimberly, down in about 11th place still, and currently fuel very much lower than everyone else. And you can see here, Zeke Wimberly will be the first one to pit and to try to either go for a two-stop strategy or a one-stop undercut. Looking into the battles here, John Mee not a bit closer to Daniel Bauer and Isekaji Mikolev now. Miyamoto trying to get past Suharto, but it's not meant to be at the moment. Wimberly and Salomon losing touch to the top 10, and Wimberly and Salomon are looking to be under pressure from Ben Ripton and the gang, Raja Kaczynski and Ricky Contreras inside the points, 13th, 14th, and 15th respectively, if they don't pick up the pace. And looking at Phu My trying to get himself close into Mohamed Reza, but it's now, the gap is 4.2 seconds. And while I'll need to take it easy on my we will be taking intermittent breaks in the commentary so that you can hear the sounds of the Nissan, Lexus, and Honda cars at Fuji here in the Our Bright Parade 500. And speaking of the Our Bright Parade, we're racing here in the Hololive GT3 Japan series, and we apologize if the graphics here is a bit way too big, so we're gonna need to adjust the graphics just a bit. Anyways, this race, 1 week on, we will be seeing the Hololive Super Expo 2023 and the Our Bright Parade concert, the Hololive 4 Festival. If you want to buy tickets to the 4 Festival Our Bright Parade, here is the QR code that will take you into the website for the concert and for pricing information. And for you guys to scan the QR code to find out more about the Hololive Super Expo 2023, the biggest expo in Hololive so far. And yes, we do note that the Hololive GT3 Japan Series logo has been getting way too big, so I'll be shrinking it now. We will be intermittently promoting the 4 Festival and the Super Expo in detail after this as well. Meanwhile, Goliath now really losing touch. They are down in 17th place. He really needs a miracle at the moment. And that number 16 Kazamai Rohan Nissan. Oh, and now we're seeing a battle between Salmonman and Wimberly, because Salmonman have gone into the inside of Zeke Wimberly there. And now it's the battle of the recent Honda NSXs. Zeke Wimberly and Ben Ripton battling side by side. They're having contact between each other. And into 100R. And you can see here, Wimberly has the inside, Ben Ripton has the outside, may want to hang on into the outside. Will Ripton dive bomb the inside? Yes, he does. So Salmonman, very good stuff there from him to steal a position from Wimberly. Now Salmonman is in 11th place, Ben Ripton up to 12th. And 13th place goes to Zeke Wimberly, unless Raja Kaczynski has anything to say about it. And we apologize for the slight lag as well here, and Wimberly losing a lot of positions there. He was 11th come the start of this lap, and is now down to 14th. Very unpleasant stuff for Zeke Wimberly at the moment. So the gap between Phu My and Mohamed Shazren is now stabilized to 4 seconds. And so it will be likely that the battle will continue on into the pit lane. And looking at Zeke Wimberly, he doesn't have much to worry about. because looking into his pit window, he will be pitting in about the next 7 laps or so. So Zeke Wimberly looking to be the first driver to pit in this race, as well as some of the other drivers here as well. But yeah, Zeke Wimberly, the first guy to pit, and then it would be Phu My. So we could be seeing a one-stop undercut or two-stop strategy, but whatever the case is, it's an intriguing sight to see in this race. And looking at the tire degradation, it's really showing here at the moment. And I'm going into the onboard Muhammad Shazren Reza here per request. As you can see here, he's looking to be very clean at the exit of turns 15 and 16 here so far. Let's see where his lap times end up. And looking into the helmet, here is the helmet of Muhammad Shazren Reza representing Himemori Luna in Hololive GT3. So you can have a good look at it and see and hear, drop your thoughts into the chat. Oh, and Cal Gibbons are really getting close there to Phu My now. Looking into the lap times here, Phu My is now gained 4/10 on Shazren Reza, and Callum Gibbons is not far behind as well. Well, never mind. Shazren's last lap was a 1:42.613. We apologize. Phu My and Cal Gibbons have dropped to Shazren Reza by 0.5 of a second. Shazren Reza is his race to lose, honestly. So obviously, Shazren Reza is in a position of dominance at the moment in this race, qualifying inside the front row. So qualifying on pole position, briefly lost the lead to Daniel Bauer and swiftly stole the lead back. And right now, Shazren Reza is about to lead the most laps if it remains untouched. Crystal Salberman currently in 11th place under pressure from Van Ripton, who have shown that he has a serious amount of race pace in his repertoire. And into Crystal Salberman's gap, eating into his advantage. Ripton not far behind. Let's see if he can make a move. And Raja Kaczynski not far behind to Ben Ripton. Now Raja Kaczynski has something to say about it. Raja Kaczynski and Ripton side by side heading into the Dunlop chicane here. Kaczynski might want to try to hang it around the outside. Will it be a switchback move? Kaczynski's gonna try to make it around the outside. No dive down the inside. I think there is a look into the inside there. Kaczynski, but not close enough. Kaczynski still in 13th place. Ben Ripton in 12th. Crystal Salberman hangs on to 11th. The battle between 7th and 10th is still rife. More drivers getting into the 1 minute gap. We are noting that as well as Aligan Aster is down in 12th place. Sorry, down in 16th place outside the points. Has now dropped to 1 minute behind the leader. Shazren Reza obviously currently getting into the exiting the hairpin, and Sean Goliath and Aligan Aster inside sector 3. So these will be the first drivers that will be going a lap down. So not a really good showing for them, but obviously this is for Aligan Aster, it is his first race in the Nissan after a full season in the Honda, and Sean Goliath, that's literally his first time inside a GT3 car in Hololive GT3. So there's a lot of, let's say, growing pains that he needs to deal with. And Aligan Aster holding on to 12th place, sorry, 16th place, trying to close the gap back into Contreras, but it will be very unlikely. 1:45.996 for Goliath, not looking good for him. A bit of a note, due to the timing towers, this restriction, the name for Shazren Reza has been cut out. So the full name is Shazren Reza, as you might want to see here again. Here is the name, Shazren Reza. Speed trap entering turn 1 to 74.8 kilometers an hour. So, and the Nissan doesn't really suck. It's got a good amount of straight line speed, which does fit Fuji Speedway. So obviously, the Nissans have already won a race with this car In the 2022 season, Gabriel Ariane won with this car, the Tokino Sora Nissan, in the first race of the Hololive GT3 Japan Series season here in Fuji. So Fumi has something to go about on his own. So Fumi trying to fend off Callum Gibbons as well. Meanwhile, if we want to take into some kind of break, we need to address a few things. So, as we're about to take into this break, you're currently watching the Our Bright Parade 500 here in Fuji Speedway. Welcome back to Hololive GT3. We are currently in lap 21 of this race, and Zeke Wimberley have already pitted for his fresh set of tires, and he will be good to go until the end. And looking into his gap now, he is currently under pressure from Mohamed Shazren Reza, who is looking to lap Zeke Wimberley. But Zeke Wimberley has the fresher tires, and obviously, not needing another stop, but Shazren Reza needs to stop again. So Belial is actually still losing into the leaders. The only reason he's currently up a position is because Zeke Wimberley has already pitted. So on board Zeke Wimberley, and to see how his lap times go. Barreling down into the main straight. Currently it's a 154.716 because that was his out lap. A 142.705 for Shazren Reza. If, let's say, Zeke Wimberley can hold up Shazren Reza while Shazren Reza is still trying to continue on his first stint, Fumi and Callum Gibbons might have a chance to steal this race lead. Fumi's only 7.5 seconds behind Shazren Reza at the moment. Callum Gibbons not far behind in third place. Callum Gibbons is not far behind at the moment, and now Shazren Reza is slowly catching up to Zeke Wimberley here. The gap is only just about a second or two, give or take. And right now Zeke Wimberley under pressure to go a lap down. Shazren Reza still breathing down on Wimberley's neck. As far as the gap goes, Juan Suarto has finally pitted as well. He's only the second driver to pit, and he's now properly credited into the timing tower, so good to see that. So we have two drivers who have already pitted, Juan Suarto and Zeke Wimberley. So obviously we're also going to be taking a look into Makoto Miyamoto and Callum Gibbons. These will be the next drivers to pit. And for Callum Gibbons especially, you can see here, Callum Gibbons finally coming into the pits. He will try to make this undercut strategy work as we're slowly getting ourselves into the halfway point of this race of the 2023 Hololive GT3 Japan Series. Well, it's a Hololive GT3 Japan Series race round 1, our Bright Parade 500 here in Fuji. Shazren Reza is not able to really catch it to Wimberley there. In the second stint there, he's trying to really try his best to not go a lap down. And you see here, Miyamoto and Cal Gibbons confirmed to be pitting in this lap. Miyamoto finally getting that car stopped. And Shazren Reza, if he is slowly being held up by Zeke Wimberley before he gets to pit, and looks like it is, Shazren Reza is being held up at the moment. And after the pit stop, as the pit stops go, Gibbons is now dropped down to what should be 9th place behind a few drivers, such as Daniel Bauer and some of the few drivers who have yet to pit. But as for the drivers who have pitted, he is leading. Miyamoto exits behind Contreras and Astor, who have also yet to pit. So it's going to be an interesting battle to see the battle between those with fresh tires and those who don't have the fresh tires. And as you can see here, Astor really making the move to Contreras there to get himself inside 15th place. Well, a net 15th place at the moment because they have yet to pit. Zeke Wimberley and Shazren Reza on a battle of wits between each other. It's the young upstart versus the veteran, the experienced driver. And obviously, Zeke Wimberley, this is his first time in the Hakui Koyori Honda, and he's trying his best to stay on the lead lap. And due to Wimberley holding up Shazren Reza due to the no blue flags rule in the Assetto Corsa, Fumi is slowly catching up to Shazren Reza. Ben Ripton and Raja Kaczynski are also going to go hammer and taunt between each other. Raja Kaczynski is exiting this turn 16, losing out to Ben Ripton because of the straight line disadvantage, but will catch up onto the sweeping corners. That's what Alexis has the main advantage. And looking at Fumi, the gap has now dropped down to 6.9 seconds. As Shazren Reza is still being held up by Zeke Wimberley, and also close Shazren Reza has been to Zeke Wimberley that Fumi has now gained up 5/10 on this corner alone. Sorry, not 5/10, 8/10. Meanwhile, as we're taking a look into Fumi and Daniel Bauer have also yet to pit. And currently, Fumi is looking into. Oh, look at this! Shazren Reza finally looking to get past Zeke Wimberley, but Zeke Wimberley is slowly putting up a fight, but it won't be enough. Zeke Wimberley is now the first driver a lap down, but for how much longer? Because we're seeing more drivers pitting. Isakaiji Mikolev is currently having his car served into the pits with half the race remaining, coming up in the next 2 laps. So, looking into Mikolev right now, the car is still being serviced, the tires are being changed, the fuel is being topped up. Salmon Man is now up to 5th place, but he hasn't pitted just yet. Shazren Reza is going to try to make it 2 wins at Fuji Speedway, and as it stands, Shazren Reza will be breaking the record for the most wins in Hololive GT3 with a grand total of 6. And Mikolev exits the pit lane behind Mikolev, and now Callum Gibbons is now stuck behind traffic as well. It's the lead lap car, so they have every incentive to defend their position, and Callum Gibbons needs to try to pass them fast. Oh, really trying to look for an opportunity there, Kaczynski. And now going down the inside of Ben Ripton. Ben Ripton just went off wide there. So Kaczynski really trying to go on the attack between himself and Ben Ripton, who is regarded as one of the most aggressive drivers in Hololive GT3. Raja Kaczynski is not going to take this line down. Oh, as you can see here, Ben Ritter was really struggling in that corner. Oh, takes a lot of curve there. Calvin Gibbons side by side between the two. And more battles between Wawa Suharto and Ricky Contreras. Old tires versus new tires. Guess who's winning out? It's Wawa Suharto. Raja Kaczynski gets ahead of Ben Ripton, who has already been overtaken by Calvin Gibbons. Calvin Gibbons is a man on a mission. And Phu My is now pitting before Mohammad Shazren Reza to see if he could gain some time inside the pits. Mohammad Shazren Reza's last lap was a 43.213. Will Phu My pull one back? Vieira da Silva gets inside the top 3 as she has yet to pit. Okay, we're looking back into Vieira da Silva, who is currently in 3rd place. Almost all of the drivers have now been back into the timing boards right now, with the only driver still not inside the board is Daniel Bauer, if I'm not mistaken. I think Daniel Bauer have already pitted as well. So, looking into the battles here at the moment, Daniel Bauer is currently battling with Phu My. Both of them are currently embroiled in a battle because they have just exited the pits. And right now, Daniel Bauer is on the inside, Phu My is on the outside. Taking it easy there, Daniel Bauer there, to not use up too much of the tires here. Bauer really trying to hold on for as long as he can. And looking at the gaps here at the moment, you need a 40-second window for you to stay ahead of Mohammad Shazren Reza once Shazren Reza has already pitted. And right now, Bauer and Phu My battling each other. They're not going to do themselves any favors. And look at Phu My! Phu My has went off and has basically spun out. And I think he has stalled the car and couldn't refire the car. And I think he's out of this race. An unforced error and an uncharacteristic one at that from the defending Hololive GT3 Japan Series champion. Phu My has spun out and looks to be out of this race. Phu My is still out there, stranded at the exit of turn 16. Yellow flags at that section. Drivers are being reminded to take it easy. And Phu My, I think, let's see if he could refire the car. He still couldn't able to refire the car, and now he's out of this race entirely. It's Kaiji Mikolev trying to battle Raja Kaczynski for position. But it's not meant to be. Kaczynski holds on to 7th place. Phu My is now out of this race entirely, joining Tim Eno as one of the DNFers. John Mi and Mohammad Shazren Reza are still 1-2 at the moment. Shazren Reza and John Mi are due to pit in about 8 to 9 laps time. Vieira da Silva hangs on to 3rd place, but for how much longer she can stay there. But obviously da Silva out of the contention for the race win and looking to stay inside 3rd place at the moment before she will make her inevitable ping. On board with the number 08 Shogai no Lexus. And since we're already going halfway, we will be taking a break for about 1 lap or 2 to take it easy on the throat. And yes, so basically we'll be going on break, and Shazren is currently being called to get into the pits right now. And right now you're currently watching the Albright Parade 500 at Fuji Speedway. This is the 2023 Hololive GT3 Japan Series. Welcome back to Hololive GT3 Japan for the 2023 season. You're watching the Our Bright Parade 500, and you're looking at Daniel Bauer and Callum Gibbons trying to catch Muhammad Shazren Reza, who have successfully converted the overcut strategy into a net race lead. Now looking at the last three drivers who have yet to pit, John Meade, Carolina Vieira da Silva, and Christoph Salmonman. They are going to be trying something to get themselves back into the fight of their own respective things. Suharto and Miyamoto battling side by side against each other once again. Alikan Aster also yet to pit in this race, and is causing a nuisance to the Bakatari cars, well, 2/3 of the Bakatari cars as well. And so looking into John Meade right now, he's just gone out of the pit lane at the moment. Obviously behind Bauer and Gibbons. But let's see if he can hold on to Mikolev. The answer will be no. Because looking at Mikolev right now, Mikolev has edged John Meade for what should be 5th place. So I believe we still have one driver who is not recorded yet into the timing tower. And 4th, well, let's be fair. Oh yeah, I also want to mention that Hans Heidek has also gone into the pits, and only now the timing tower is complete. And behind them, the battle is getting very right. Miyamoto going into the inside of Contreras, building up a good cushion there, building up a good exit. Miyamoto's now up to 11th place. And Suharto really trying to get closer to Alikan Aster, who is still yet to pit. Alikan Aster obviously only having 19 liters of fuel left, going for the super overcut strategy. Is trying to hold on for dear life for as much of this position as possible. And confirmation, Wimberley and Goliath are now back onto the lead lap, but for how much longer? They have served their pit stops, and Shazren have served his as well. And right now we're looking at a side-by-side battle between the Bakatari cars. Miyamoto have now passed Suharto with near ease, and is now looking to pass Aster as well. It will be easy for Miyamoto to clear him, and the answer is a resounding yes. Miyamoto can clear Suharto takes up a lot of grass, takes up the track, goes way too wide there. Suharto nearly making the same mistake as Phu My. And now Ricky Contreras is back into the mix. Alikan Aster finally pits. Salmonman and Shazren Reza are currently battling for position as well. Salmonman is staying out, trying to go for the overcut strategy, as well as Vieira da Silva. Shazren Reza is losing touch to Daniel Bauer, who had been faster than him in the last few sectors. If Shazren Reza isn't able to clear Christoph Salmonman ASAP, Daniel Bauer is going to have something to say for that race lead, and would want to try to be the first Lexus race winner since Muhammad Shakib Reza last time out at Fuji on round 1. That's almost everyone pitting. Only Vieira da Silva and Christoph Salmonman, the only 2 drivers who have yet to pit. And right now Daniel Bauer is really catching up to Muhammad Shakib Reza, as well as Callum Gibbons. Both Lexus cars, who are currently in 2nd and 3rd place, who have transferred over from splits B to A, is now catching up to Muhammad Shazren Reza, who is still trying his best to pass Christoph Salmonman, and Salmonman is still holding up Muhammad Shazren Reza, and is not looking good there for Shazren. The gap's now dropped down to 6/10 of a second between Shazren Reza and Bauer. And a good reminder to everyone, if you're struggling in the early portion of a race, stick until the end. You might find some miracles, and right now Sean Colell is finding one as well. And Shazren goes wide, trying to pass Salmon Man, and now Daniel Bauer is gonna challenge Shazren's race lead. And now the two drivers going side by side once again, the two front row starters battling hammer and taunt for position. Both of them are gonna try their best to clear Christoph Salmonman once again. Shazren Reza's on the outside in the Himemori Luna Honda. And Daniel Bauer in the Yozoramel Lexus manages to get past Muhammad Shazren Reza and is now looking to get past Christoph Salmonman. It's Daniel Bauer into the net race lead. Going into the outside there. Oh, and pushes Salmonman off wide, and it compromises Shazren Reza and Gibbons. Daniel Bauer will have a breath of fresh air. And looking at Shazren Reza is now under pressure for Cal Gibbons. Cal Gibbons has caught Shazren Reza unawares. Shazren Reza's race lead has now evaporated into nothingness as he's now under pressure for Cal Gibbons. Oh, Shazren Reza's Honda NSX having his better straight line speed. He might be able to defend second. Into the inside, Callum Gibbons. The answer is yes. Challenging Shazren Reza for points. Challenging Shazren Reza for the early season supremacy. Callum Gibbons up to net second place. But Shazren Reza dive down the inside. I know Vieira da Silva is still leading, but Vieira da Silva has yet to pit as well. This is a battle for the net race lead. So this is a battle for those who have already pitted, because Da Silva will lose the lead anyway due to her wanting to serve her pit stop. Salmon Man still gonna try to stay long here into this race. He's gonna go for at least 15 more laps into this stint. But meanwhile, Vieira da Silva, only 11 laps for her as well. They're also gonna go long. These two drivers are really gonna go long. And now Callum Gibbons is gonna try to clear Christoph Salmonman, and now he's able to clear Salmonman, and Shazren Reza is about to lose second place to Callum Gibbons in a whim. Salmonman gets pushed off wide. Shazren Reza getting a bit desperate there, and Callum Gibbons goes off wide. Shazren Reza looking for, and he will lift off there, trying to avoid a collision between himself and Salmonman. And Bauer and Gibbons consolidates the top two spots. It's now Lexus 1-2 in Fuji, and please note, Fuji is basically home to Toyota. It's a Toyota-owned racetrack, so a Lexus 1-2 would be favorable for the Toyota brand. And Shazren Reza trying to catch up to Christoph Salmonman. Christoph Salmonman trying to unlap himself from Callum Gibbons, but not quite close enough. Shazren Reza is still being held up. Oh, and you can see Salmonman really trying to get into the inside there. No contact. Salmonman going off wide. Now under pressure from Mama Shazren Reza. Shazren Reza also having to lift off from that corner, which is not helping him in any sense. Shazren Reza really needs to take more risks when it comes to passing Salmonman here. Remember, the no blue flags rule are still in full effect. Sean Goliath battling for the final point positions here. Wimberley is only 7 tenths behind. Thanks for pointing that out. Lieutenant Kaczynski battling for 12th place. Meanwhile, the battle between John Mee and Isakaiji Mikolev really heating up here at the moment. But there are at least 3 battles that we want to pay attention to. Shazren Reza is trying to try his best. Here's Zeke Wimberley. Finally getting past Sean Goliath, who's already pinning for the second time. He's going for the 2-stop strategy. So, not sure what we had in mind there on the 2-stop strategy, but it's unorthodox and is currently putting himself well down the field and out of the points. So it looks like it is a miscalculation of fuel on that first stop, and they found out that it's not actually going to be enough for Goliath to make it until the end of the race, so they had to make the second stop. So Sean Goliath now on the back foot. Salmon still holding up on my Shazren Reza. He's still trying his best to get past the ASCII Honda. Salmon have yet to pit, as does Vieira da Silva. But looking at how both Vieira da Silva and Crystal Salmon are about to pit in at least about 8 to 9 laps time. If Bauer and Vieira da Silva get caught up with each other, Shazren might actually have a reprieve. John Mead getting close to make a left, but not quite close enough. Shazren Reza is also not quite close enough to Salmon Man. We also apologize if there has been another again, we apologize for the slight lag. Shazren Reza still holding up, still being held up by Salmon Man, and it's not looking good for him as he wants to try to win this race here at Fuji and try to break that record. Juan Suharto has passed Ricky Contreras for position, and now Contreras now down to 11th. John Mead really catching up to Mikolev, and now Kaczynski and Ripton battling hammer and tongs for position. And Shazren Reza is still unable to pass Salmon Men as Ripton and Kaczynski try to battle it out side by side between each other. Ben Ripton trying to hang on into Ripton trying to hang on to 13th place here. Ricky Contreras finally pitting from again. Also Ricky Contreras as well. So Ricky Contreras has also messed up his fuel calculations on his first stop and is now gonna have to pit for a second time. Again, it's not only for Sean Goliath, it's also for Ricky Contreras. And now Ben Ripton is now up to 12th place. Kaczynski is up to 11th. Wimberley is gonna have a lonely battle up in 30th. And also, we're looking into finally Carolina Vieira da Silva pitting in this race. Daniel Bauer will inherit this race lead, and we'll see if the Yozora Mel Lexus will be the winner in the end. We'll have to wait and see. Gibbons is also not far behind, though they are pretty much almost inseparable in terms of lap times. Salmon is still in 3rd place, yet to pit, and Shazren Reza is still being held up. Obviously, both of them are battling for position. It's not between a battle of lap car and elite lap cars. It's a battle between 2 elite lap cars, and Salmon's trying his best to hang on to 3rd place. And looking into getting into the 3rd stage of this race, or the final quarter of this race, we're gonna put ourselves in one final short break before we get ourselves back into this race here, as we're about to get into the final moments. Anyways, just a bit of another flex once again. You're watching the Our Bright Parade 500 at Fuji International Speedway. We're hosting this race 1 week before the 4 Festival, and here's the hashtag for the 4 Fest. And if you want to buy tickets to the 4 Fest, you can buy it right here. Here is the QR code that you can scan on the bottom right of your screen. If you want to buy tickets, you can buy tickets. It's about maybe $30 to $40. So no, $40, around $40 to $50. And the other QR code is if you want to know more about the for the Super Expo in 2023. So yeah, so right now we're gonna go for a short break. You've been watching the Outright Parade 500 at Fuji race here in Hololive GT3. It's a split A race, and we'll catch you later when we'll uncover the final laps of this race. Welcome back to the stream here in Fuji. It's the Outright Parade 500 in Hololive GT3 Japan 2023, and we've been seeing a battle of side-by-side between Mikolev and Mead, both of them going hammer and tongs between each other, and right now both of them are looking to get to, try to battle between each other and who gets to be ahead and who gets to be behind. And right now Shazren is still behind Crystal Salmon, doing a very good job of holding Shazren Reza off. Bauer and Gibbons will have him to thank when all of this is said and done for securing a Lexus 1-2, especially for Daniel Bauer. Miyamoto and Vieira de Silva battle it out between each other. Miyamoto's passed de Silva for 8th place. Mikolev and Mead side by side for position. Mikolev tries to defend 5th place from Mead. Mead is trying to find a way to get past. So far, it's not meant to be, and now Shazren is under pressure between the Sakura Miko Honda and the Akai Hato Honda. And now John Mead's up to 5th place. Very good stuff there from the guy making his first start in Hololive GT3. Shazren is still struggling to get past Salmon. He needs to try to make this pass done right here, right now. But he's not pushing it at the moment, and that may cost his spot in the top 2 positions. Shongolai is just exiting turn 16, about to be lapped by Hans-Harry Heinz. Ricky Contreras has been lapped by Callum Gibbons. Alikan Asser is about to be lapped by Callum Gibbons and Daniel Bauer. Here's Daniel Bauer. P2 to P6. Sorry, no, it's P3 to P6. All of them are NSXs, because the other NSXs are currently in 12th and 13th place. And currently, Shazren Reza is still struggling to get past Salmon. He knows that Salmon is gonna have to pit later on, and Shazren Reza has already pitted. But he's trying his best, but he's not finding an opportunity. Just Salmon has a very good exit at times, and right now, John Mead is pulling away from Isekai G Mikolev as well. We're now getting into around about 15 laps to go in this race, and it looks to be a win for Daniel Bauer after Shazren Reza dominated the first half. Daniel Bauer showed up on the second. And currently Shazren Reza trying to get past Salman Man once again, but it's to no avail. Mead and Mikolev are not far behind. The more Shazren Reza tries to make a pass and fails, Mead and Mikolev will be hot on the heels. Speed trap for Shazren Reza 279.2, still not enough to get past Christoph Salman Man. Mead and Mikolev hanging on to whatever they have at the moment. Heinz currently trying to find ways to lap Sean Goliath in 16th place. Heinz himself is in 7th. Miyamoto is in 8th. Vieira de Silva now dropped down to 9th place. And Juan Suharto rounds at the top 10. That will be Alikan Aster, the one who might be able to give Daniel Bauer a bit of a headache. If Daniel Bauer gets way too confident and goes passing Alikan Aster at the most inopportune moment, he might get himself flipped. Honestly, that has happened before, and it will happen again. And right now, Alikan Aster trying to fend off Daniel Bauer on the outside. Daniel Bauer hanging on to the outside quite well, and having screwed the exit there. Daniel Bauer has officially lapped Alikan Aster. Zeke Wimberly is the next driver that may go a lap down. Mead and Mikolev trying to catch Muhammad Shazren Reza unaware. Salman Man still losing touch to the top 2 Lexus cars, and now looking at Daniel Bauer, who have gotten past Alikan Aster. Count Gibbons might have something to say about it despite having a battered Roboco Lexus. Still not enough for Muhammad Shazren Reza. John Mead and Sakaiji Mikolev are thinking of a battle, thinking of each other's battles. Is the Honda Civil War in full effect. Shazren Reza trying to find a way to get past. Still no way through. Salman Man by Shazren Reza might try to go around the outside, but it was inopportune. Look at John Mead sniffing an opportunity, and not quite close enough there, but you can sense something is on the cards for the drivers in 5th and 6th. The Hachama car and the Miko car trying to find a way to get past the Luna car. So they're really trying to get close, but not quite close enough. Right now, into the final few corners. Turns 13 and 14 are up next. Ben Repton currently laps at a 1:44.837. Zeke Wimberly is about to go a lap down as it stands. Gibbons is now currently stuck behind Alikan Aster. Can Shazren Reza hang on to 3rd place after Salman Man have held up Shazren Reza for quite a long time in this race? It's time to take a look at the progress chart as it stands right now. Christoph Salman Man have yet to pit and will likely lose a lot of positions in the process. Shazren Reza is looking to lose 2 positions. Callan Gibbons have gained 2 positions from his 4th place start. And Daniel Bauer, despite starting on 2nd place, which is not on pole position, he has done very well to be optimistic and opportune of himself to steal the race lead from Muhammad Shazren Reza. And Shazren Reza might have a chance here. He might be able to get past Salman Man. But again, it's still not enough for Shazren Reza. Try as he might, Salman Man is very good on the defense despite having very worn tires. Salman Man's placement as well as Shazren Reza's hesitance is costing him a possible win. And right now Shazren Reza almost got overtaken by Mead there. Still hangs on to 4th place, but for how much longer Salmon can hold on to this position? Looking at Salmon, he only has 5 laps to go, so he will serve a very short second stint. Thinks Alex Albon in the 2022 Australian Grand Prix. Shazren Reza is going to be barreling down the main straight, looking for an opportunity. Can he have the slipstream against Salmon? Can he get close enough? At least that's what he thinks. But he is losing touch to Salmon. Salmon just has a very good exit off of turn 16. And Shazren Reza's lap times are suffering because of it. 145.8 for Shazren. Mead and Mikolev. Again, we apologize for the current lag that you're seeing on screen. No fighting, bring it home is a pretty good call there at the moment for the Honda drivers to stay where they are at the moment. The Nissans are absolutely not showing up ever since Phu My crashed out of the race, well, spun out of the race. It was uncharacteristic from the 2022 Japan Series champion for the champion to spin out on the final corner and have the car stall and not being able to refire. And John Mead really getting close to Mama Shazren Reza. Shazren Reza looking for an opportunity to get past Crystal Salmon. Now's the time for Shazren to make a move. But will that move count? The answer is yes. Shazren Reza finally manages to get past Salmon. What a great defense maneuver for Salmon though, to hold up everyone and hang on to 3rd place for as well as he could for about 20 laps. That is an achievement in of itself. But now he has to take a look into his fuel. He'll have to pit after this. We are now getting into the final 11 laps of this race. 11 laps to go here in in Fuji. Will it be enough for Shazren Reza to catch up to Gibbons and Bauer? I do not think so. And now Daniel Bauer has caught up to Zeke Wimberly, the next car that may be down a lap. And now Daniel Bauer is really looking for a shot, an opportunity to get past Wimberly, but it's not going to be enough. Daniel Bauer is currently being held up by Zeke Wimberly still, and Zeke Wimberly manages to hang on to the lead lap. Calvin Gibbons is catching up. It was 2.8 seconds, now down to just 2 seconds. Oh, and you can see here Gibbons really catching up to Bauer. Bauer's really being held up there by Wimberly. Let's see if Gibbons can seize the opportunity. And looking at Calvin Gibbons there, and Daniel Bauer have already passed Zeke Wimberly, and now Calvin Gibbons is looking to do the same as well. But with the Honda straight line speed, that's going to make Calvin Gibbons' work slightly harder. Oh, and looking at Sekaijin Mikolev, Mikolev tries to pass John Mead once again, and John Mead manages to hang on to what should be a net 4th place. And with Salmon still staying out, and looking into the gaps here at the moment, the delta is only at about, what, 40 to 45 seconds? And looking at the gaps between Salmon and the rest of the field, Salmon might be able to convert a 10th to 11th place finish as it stands. And now Mikolev trying to catch up to John Mead once again on this final stage of this race. The sun is slowly setting here in Fuji. Let's take a look into the scenery. This is where the sun is at the moment. The sun is really dropping down on the skies of Mount Fuji here in Shizuoka. The Our Bright Parade 500 for Split A is about to come to an end. Shazren Reza, despite being the pole sitter, wasn't able to convert his race lead into a win after being stuck by lap traffic that stubbornly refuses to let go of him. And also a driver who is going for the extreme overcut strategy, also wanting to defend the position. Shazren is losing out big time to the Lexus front two. Daniel Bauer in the Yosoramel Lexus is going to take home one of the biggest wins in this season, winning the Outright Parade 500 Split A race in Hololive GT3. John Mee is also trying his best to get past Salmonman, and the call is for Salmonman to finally pit in this race after 47 laps. Will this pay off for Salmonman in terms of pit strategy on his battle for 10th to 11th place? Stay tuned, as we're about to see the battle between me and Nicholas finally starting to heat up once again. And you can see here Nicholas going side by side with John Mee for a battle for 4th place. It had been a good showing for Honda, with Shazren leading, but they have the next best thing, Honda 345, to defend their advantages. Nissan will be having the worst manufacturer out of Split A this round at Fuji, as Suharto is now the leading Nissan after Phu My spun out. If Phu My had stayed here, he would have been challenging at least for top 5s. Salomon is pulling out of his pit box, looking to be overtaken by Kaczynski and Suharto. Well, it looks like he will be okay against Ben Ripton, and with the freshest tires possible, he might be able to steal 10th and 9th after all in this next 5 laps. Expect the rocket ship for Christoph Salomon in these final few laps. Yeah, we have the car manufacturer sponsorship here in Fuji, but that is kind of stock for the track. But some of the other sponsors, I did modify them myself in accordance to the Ford Festival and the Super Expo. But right now, John Mee trying to catch up to Sakaiji Mikolev once again for the battle for 4th place. We'll have to wait and see, because right now the battle for the podium positions have already been locked in, with Daniel Bauer leading this race comfortably, 5 seconds ahead of Cal Gibbons, and Shazren a bit far back, 17 seconds behind, 274 kilometers an hour for him. So let's look at this battle for 9th place, Kaczynski and Suharto. Let's see where they'll end up. Kaczynski barreling down the main straight with Suharto. Salomon is not far behind. Lap 49 is due to start at the moment. Daniel Bauer is in turns 13 and 14. Kaczynski hanging on to 10th place. Trying to catch one Suharto, but it's still not. But still, the gap is 6/10. Not looking for an opportunity here. We are only seeing 12 cars on the lead lap. Ben Ripton is the closest driver on the lead lap. Daniel Bauer is also not far behind. Ben Ripton is at risk of being a lap car and going a lap down. Astor is trying to catch himself to Zeke Wimberly. Look at that exit, and look at that straight line advantage. Algan Astor peeling into the inside of Wimberly. 61 versus 54. It's Takani Louis versus Hakui Koyori. Down the inside, Wimberly manages to, I believe, hang on, I think. Oh, and it looks like Wimberly has a compromised exit off of turn 1. Astor manages to steal 13th place. John Mee trying to get past Isakaiji Mikolev still, but Mee has lost about 600ths of a second. Kaczynski trying to really get close to Suharto on the final corners here into turn 16. Kaczynski will have to wait until the next sector, because the first sector with this main straight, and Nissan is able to pull away. Then the ball slowly catching up to Ripton there in the Sakamata Koloi Honda. For the Hololive cars, the highest they've been is about in the top 5 before they pitted. And now adjusting pit stops. The highest one has been Ripton in the Sakamata Koloi Honda. Adak-RMS in the Takani Louis Nissan is in 13th. Wimberley in the Koyori Honda is in 14th. Contreras in the Laplace Darkness Honda in the Nissan in 15th. Sean Golial in the Kazamai Roha Nissan is in 16th. And of course, we also want to talk about Phu My, Gen 0 representative for Tokino Sora. Spun out in the middle of the race. That didn't pay him any favors in terms of his championship defense. Finally, on lap 50 of this race, we are about 6 laps to go until we conclude the first of 250 kilometers of the 500 kilometer Our Bright Parade 500 here at Fuji, the season opener of the 2023 Hololive GT3 Japan Series. Kaczynski's still trying to catch Juan Suharto, but it's still not close enough. Contreras also trying to catch past Wimberley. Wimberley's losing touch with everyone here. The battle between the Hololive drivers. Wimberley losing touch with Adak-RMS under pressure from Ricky Contreras. John Mead hanging on to 5th place. Everyone's okay on field. There will not be any unscheduled stops. Kaczynski's really getting close to Salmon Man, but looking into every single opportunity in the books in the Sector 1 after the main straight and until the Sector 3 before the main straight. Kaczynski might have a shot, but looking at Salmon Man, the gap was 6 seconds. This is what new tires does to a driver. He's now about 3 seconds, I think, or was that 1 second faster than Suharto and Kaczynski. And right now, Salmon Man is looking for a possible top 10 finish at the end, despite starting at the back. Remember, Salmon Man didn't participate in the qualifying session due to the issues in the car. Or I believe he crashed out somewhere in his outlap. But still, and now Contreras finally being overtaken by Wimberley almost. And now Wimberley having a good run. And look at Shazren Reza finally catching up into these lap cars once again. Shazren catching up to Zeke Wimberley again. Ricky Contreras trying to go around the inside. Now here's the issue. This is a battle for position between 14th and 15th. The battle of who gets 4 points instead of 1 point. Shazren Reza still has some few lap cuts that he needs to deal with. A jostling for position between Contreras and Wimberley. Contreras finally gets 14th place, and Wimberley is about to go a lap down to Shazren Reza. Salmon Man is really getting close to Kaczynski. Kaczynski's trying to find a way past Suharto, and with his back straight, so with this main straight not favoring the Lexus much. Oh, going down the inside early there, Salmon Man. And now he's really tucked in behind the slipstream on this main straight. Closing in into Kaczynski, and will he manage to get past it? Suharto will have to wait and see in this final few laps. You're about less than 5 laps to go. Salmon Man have passed Kaczynski finally. And Salmon Man, after starting at the back in 18th place, is now inside the top 10. Good stuff there from Salmon Man to make a comeback drive that should be remembered. If you remember, an ASCII ride also crashed out in Fuji last March and managed to climb it back to the points. Salmon Man is doing the same thing. Is looking to find a way to get past Juan Suharto. Juan Suharto is getting very close to exiting turn 6 and now into the hairpin. They are now going side by side between Salmon Man and Suharto. The battle is rife. The final laps are ticking down. Ooh, really pushing Suharto slightly. Salmon Man's looking for an offensive move. And right now, Salmon Man is trying his best to stay ahead and stay relevant inside the battle inside the battle for 9th place. Salmon trying to get past Suharto, and while also trying to defend from Kaczynski. Salmon knows the Nissans are going to be untouchable on this race, but he has a chance in the corners. So this is where Salmon might be able to seize the opportunity. Carolina Vieira da Silva had raced as recently as last week at Sepang, so she hasn't been that rusty when it comes to driving cars. But to replace Alexis Bowen like this, Carolina Vieira da Silva has things to do, and to try to bring the Noel car into 7th place, trying to get past Miyamoto. And now Salman and Suharto finally trading blows between each other. Salman might be able to steal 9th place. The comeback drive is real for Crystal Salman, who have started in 18th place, is now inside the single-digit points positions in 9th place. Vieira da Silva trying to catch Miyamoto in the final laps of this race. We are now only at about 3 laps to go here in Fuji to decide the Our Bright Parade 500 Fuji Split A. A lot of cuts between these Lexus cars. For John Meade and Hans-Henrik Heinz, both Hondas are losing out to Hans-Henrik Heinz, who have gained a few positions to them. Sean Golial, Ho Mi, and Tim Eno will be missing out on points. From Zeke Wimberly to Daniel Bauer, they will be eligible to earn points. And multiple battles are still active here in the Fuji Speedway, as we are about to complete the final laps of this race. Vieira da Silva slowly catching up to Makoto Miyamoto. Both of them inside the Japan Series for the first time, replacing drivers that was in the entry list but had pulled out due to internal conflicts. John Meade, who losing touch and definitely losing a lot of pace there in turn 6 and into the hairpin. Will Heinz make a dive bomb down the inside? The answer is no. Daniel Bauer is exiting the final corner to start his penultimate lap, and to talk about his progress. Started on the front row, briefly led the race, ceded the lead to Muhammad Shazren Reza, pitted at the right time while Shazren Reza is stuck behind traffic, and while Shazren Reza is still stuck behind slower cars, both Bauer and Gibbons took the opportunity to seize the opportunity and to steal positions from Shazren Reza, and now Daniel Bauer and Callum Gibbons leads 1-2 for Lexus here in Fuji. And now Kaczynski and Suharto are now battling hammer toss between each other. Suharto's now dropped down to 11th place. Side by side between these drivers, Kaczynski has the inside line. Suharto's on the outside. And Kaczynski manages to consolidate 11th place. Vieira da Silva still trying to catch up to Miyamoto, but no gains are made. Meade is losing touch to Mikolev, and Hans-Henrik Heinz might be able to steal 5th or 4th place on a bright sunny day. But currently it's cloudy, so the chances aren't that much. And Daniel Bauer onto the final few corners on this penultimate lap. Really just shows you how good of a driver Daniel Bauer is since he entered the series. Since entering the postseason, he has been a top 10 contender for the championship, at least in the postseason. Has won a race at Suzuka, and entering the final lap, he will lead the 54th lap. Can he lead the 55th lap to win this race as he enters the final lap? And Callum Gibbons, though, solid driver as well. He had won here at Fuji, but was comfortably beaten by Daniel Bauer. The Roboco car has won a race under Muhammad Shakib Reza last time out in Fuji in the season opener. Shazren Reza put up a good fight, stole pole position, hung on to the lead of the race for much of the point of the race, and now the race is coming to a close. The final laps are ticking down, and the battles are being settled. The battle between 4th to 6th is about to remain uncontested, and the position for everyone is about to be cemented unless something wacky happens on the final lap. And as a bit of a confirmation, Ben Ritter has already gone a lap down relative to Daniel Bauer and Callum Gibbons. Juan Suharto have yet to go a lap down and will probably stay that way for the remainder of the final lap. And looking at Daniel Bauer, remember, he last won at Suzuka in dominating fashion in the Suzuka postseason race. Has been in it to win it in the Japan Series postseason championship. Hung on inside the top 10, finishing inside the top 10 out of 35 drivers. And to represent Jose Ramel like this is a dream come true for Daniel Bauer to try to get his second win in the Hololive GT3. Christoph Salomon gets the fastest lap of this race, 141.846. And for Daniel Bauer, representing Jose Ramel, and for all the Kabumin, what a great way to start the season. What a great way to start Hololive GT3 for Split A and for the entire season overall. Daniel Bauer wins the Our Bright Parade 500 at Fuji for Split A. Callum Gibbons will consolidate second place. Well, let's see if he has a championship to battle in the next 7 races of the season. Shazren Reza in third place. Has pole position, lost the lead due to slow traffic. But third place isn't anything to scoff by. He has proven that he can run well at Fuji, and Shazren Reza consolidates third place. Isekai Jimmy Kolev, John Meade, and Hans-Harry Heinz stuck behind the lap car of Zeke Wimberly. Algan Asa, Ricky Contreras, and also Ben Ritter have crossed the line. Zeke Wimberly will finish 15th. Mikolev will finish 4th in his Hololive GT3 debut, as well as John Meade, who will finish 5th. Hans-Harry Heinz ends up with a 6th. Makoto Miyamoto, in her first Hololive GT3 start, will finish 7th place. And for Carolina Vieira da Silva, subbing in for departing Alexis Bowen, will finish 8th. Christoph Salomon had an unorthodox strategy with the going along with the tires, and it's going to work out very well for Salomon. Salomon, after starting at the back, will finish 9th, clearing half of the field in the process. Kaczynski finishes 10th, and Juan Suharto will be the last driver to cross the line. He will finish in 11th place. And let's take a look into the champion here. Well, the winner of this race, the Split A race, the Our Bright Parade 500 Split A race at Fuji, Daniel Bauer has every reason to celebrate. No doubt about that. He's the best driver all around, manages to beat Shazren Reza. And for Shazren Reza, he'll have to wait for his 6th win, the record breaker. And with that out of the way, let's take a look finally into the race results. The winner of this race, Daniel Bauer in the Jose Ramel Lexus, takes the win comfortably ahead of Callum Gibbons to the Roboco Lexus. Mama Shazren Reza finishes 3rd at the Jose Ramel, Roboco, and Himemori Luna podium position. And it's a great showing from all these drivers. Daniel Bauer getting his 2nd win for Jose Ramel, the 3rd win for the Jose Ramel Garden Hololive GT3. Isekai Mikolev in his first Hololive GT3 start representing Sakura Miko finishes 4th. John Meade representing Akaihato in his first start finishes 5th. Hans-Harry Heinz returns to Hololive GT3 in 6th. Makoto Miyamoto in her first Hololive GT3 start is in 7th. Carolina Vieira da Silva subbing in for Alexis Bowen finishes 8th, representing Shirogai Noel. Makoto Miyamoto represents Shinomaki Watami, by the way. Christoph Salomon finishes 9th in the ASCII Honda. Great job there for a guy who started at the back. Raja Kaczynski hung on to finish 10th place. A good showing for Rajan as well. Juan Suharto and Shirono declared his season is 11th, the last car on the lead lap. And as for the Hololive cars, every car finished 1 lap down. Veterans, one of them in 12th place in Sakamoto Fully Honda. Algan Answer in the Akane Loy Nissan in 13th. In comparison to Lapras Darkness Nissan in 14th. Jake Whitley is the last of the points scorers in 15th. And the Hungary Moyori Honda. Sean Lyle is the last classified finisher in 16th place. Kazama Iroha. 16th place in car number 16. Phu My spun out at lap 25, lap 26, and so couldn't really get things going. And for Tim Ino, he didn't even finish a lap here before he got into a crash. So with that out of the way, let's transition ourselves into the replay. Should be an interesting replay session here as we're waiting for it to load. It's now 4 p.m. in Japan, but first we'll need to take a look into Tim Ino because I believe there has been contact on the first lap. Here's Tim Ino. Here is Tim Ino and what happened to him. Here's the replay. Right now he's doing very fine here into the Dunlop chicane, but I think this was in the final corner. I believe he made the same mistake as Fumi. Yeah, here's Tim Ino battling Salmon Man, and Tim Ino made the same mistake as what Hofumi did. As you can see here, went off wide, loses the car, stalled the engine, couldn't get it to refire. That's Tim Ino's race over. Let's take a replay once again to see what happened. Here it is, Tim Ino just going off wide, and then that's his race over. And then we're going to transition over to what happened to Fumi, because what happened to Fumi is understandably quite unorthodox from him as well. So let's take a look at Fumi. A big one on lap 1. Let's take a look into what happened there. As you did mention, there has been contact, but first we need to take into the let's be taking a look into these incidents one by one. And looking at Fumi, doing fine against Daniel Bauer. This was a battle for P2. And again, the same mistake by Fumi with Tim Ino. So obviously those are both cars out. Oh, and there's another spin. Raji Kaczynski. We apologize if we haven't caught that one up, but here's what happened. Here's Raji Kaczynski taking a lot of curb, nearly collecting Callum Gibbons in the process. Let's take a look at the replays again, because here it is. Oh, that's a lot of curb, and Callum Gibbons did take a hit. That has been a very wild lap 26. And we did mention that there has been a big one on lap 1. Let's take a look into the mid-pack. Here's the replay of what happened on lap 1 there. The Salmon Man really clearing up the field. Here's where the battles might start coming up. Oh, there has been contact between Juan Suharto and some other drivers on lap 4. Here it is. Juan Suharto, Ricky Contreras making contact between each other. Fortunately, each of these drivers managed to catch their cars back up. And there has been a major bunching up the pack. So it's not really a big one crash, but it has been a big a big coming together of these cars. But fortunately, there hasn't been much contact, and it has calmed down ever since. And with that out of the way, we're gonna need to get some post-race thoughts. And yes, it has been a wonderful stream. Obviously, with the issues that we've had at the moment, I apologize if I cannot go 100%. But sometimes life is cruel, and sometimes we have been dealt with a very bad hand. But hopefully, everyone can understand the issues that we've had at the moment. Anyways, we're going to be taking a look back into the championship standings here as it stands. Here we see Daniel Bauer leading the split standings as well as the overall standings so far in the Luzora Mel Lexus. Callum Gibbons will be in second place with 175 points, and Mama Shazren Reza is in 150 points in third. Colin is in fourth, 130 points. John Lee 108. Han Karin Heinz has 90 points. Makoto Miyamoto 72 points. And for Carolina
here. The silver 57. Crystal Salmon are doing very well to stay inside the top 10 with 44 points. 32 points for Raiji for his 10th place finish. Juan Suharto finishes 11th and received 22 points in the process. Ricky Contreras with excuse me, the pre-race has been way too loud. I apologize on that one. And then we see Ricky Contreras 12th place with 14 points. Zeke Wimberly 13th with 8 points. Sean Goliath with we apologize for a bit of a mix-up here, because as you can see here, the results aren't really what you call correct, because due to the amount of lap cars in the field, it kind of skews the results. So we need to reiterate this one. Zeke Wimberly finishes 13th. Alec Aster is the one who finished 14th, and Ben Ripton finished. Sorry. I need to revise this one, because it's actually Ben Ripton finishing 12th. Alec Aster finishing 13th. Because Zeke Wimberly, Ricky Contreras is finishing 14th. Zeke Wimberly with the sole point. So Ben Ripton will have 22 points. Alec Aster has 14. I'm sorry about that. We need to get ourselves back into transition. And also, Ben Ripton gets 22 points. Alec Aster gets 14 points. Ricky Contreras gets Alec Aster gets 8 points. Sorry. Ben Ripton gets 14 points. Ricky Contreras with 4 points. Zeke Wimberly gets one single point. Sean Goliath will not be receiving any points, as well as Tim Eno and Ho Fu Mi. Tim Eno finishes 18th. Fu Mi finishes 17th. Goliath finishes 16th. Wimberly finishes 15th. Contreras finishes 14th. Alec Aster finishes 13th. Ben Ripton finishes 12th. And with that out of the way, we hope you guys have been enjoying this the promising debut of Hololive GT3 Japan Series in the 2023 season. We hope everyone has been tuning in to the stream from start to finish. We appreciate for everyone here involved. So yeah, anyways, we'll be seeing you guys tomorrow for the Split B race of the Our Bright Parade 500. We hope everyone will be tuning in into their earnest. There will also be a good amount of driver changes as well. And with that out of the way, I'm Mama Shazren, the Soul Man in the commentary booth, and you've been watching the Our Bright Parade 500 at Fuji in the 2023 Hololive GT3 Japan Series.